There is a lot going on here. The first thing is recognizing that because of these side lengths that are all the same, we've got two congruent triangles on the left and the right, which means that this angle here is the same as that angle there, which also means that this angle is the same as those angles because of the vertical angles. So we can find out what that angle is by just solving this like it's an isosceles triangle, which would be 2x plus 64 equals 180. And so we end up with x equals 58. So x is 50, actually not x. This angle here is 58. And so we've got 58 as this angle here. And then because that's 58, this is 58. And then because this is an equilateral triangle or an isosceles triangle, if that's 58, then I can find these two angles in the same way. I just do 180 minus 58, which is 122, divided by 2 is 61. So that means each of these angles are 61. So 5y plus 1 has to equal 61. Subtract 1, 5y equals 60. So y equals 12. So we can find y equal to 12, no problem. And then the second part of this is recognizing that this is the same as this. This angle, or this side is the same as that side because the 58s are the same, which means this big triangle is isosceles, which means that this angle is going to be the same as this angle, 7x minus 5. And because we've already done the calculation, they must equal the 58 because they have the vertex angle of 64 as well. So we can say that 7x minus 5 equals 58. So 7x equals 63, x equals 9. For number 22, well, these markings tell us that all of these are midpoints, which means G is the intersection of the medians, and the intersection of the medians is the centroid. And so we know that G is the centroid. And our centroid theorem says that GF, this length, is exactly half of AG, or twice GF equals AG. If you remember, the distance from the centroid to a midpoint is half the distance from the centroid to a vertex. So if GF is 2y minus 4, I do 2 times 2y minus 4 equals AG, which is 5x minus 3. So I get 2 times 2y minus 4 equals 5x minus 3. And then I know CG is 3y minus 5, and GE is 2x minus 1. So I can do the same calculation and do 2 times 2x minus 1 equals 3y minus 5. So again, this is all based on the centroid theorem. Now that gives me a system of equations. If I subtract, I'm going to get a 4y here minus 8 equals 5x minus 3. So that's going to give me negative 5x plus 4y equals 5. And then here I'm going to get 4x minus 2 equals 3y minus 5. So that gives me 4x minus 3y equals negative 3. That's a system of equations. So I'm just going to multiply this one by 4 to get negative 20x plus 16y equals 20. And this one times 5 to get 20x minus 15y. We multiplied by 5, so that's going to be negative 15. And so that's going to give me y equals 5. And if y equals 5, then I can find x by plugging it back in here. So 4x equals 12. So x equals 3. So x is going to equal 3, and y equals 5.